jump on in. Good morning, Tyann. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much. If you see my caption today is never broken, only stretched. Yes, I'm going to say it again. Never broken. We are never broken. We are only being stretched. And getting into this, I mean, how I got that topic today, it's life things that are going on within my life that has caused me to be stretched beyond measure. And I am grateful for the stretch. I'm ecstatic for the stretch because it's only producing something in me that I did not know I acquired. The mistakes, the past failures, the heartbreaks, life issues. Hey, Zakia, thank you so much for joining. The hurts and the rejections that we may have all experienced it was never meant to break us, but it was never meant to break us. It was never meant to wound us. It was never meant to kill us. But their only sole purpose for those things were to build us and to grow us in order for us to fulfill our purpose. That is what these things represent. They were to build us and to grow us in order for us to move and to pursue our purpose and what we've been called here to do. In our lives, we have uncomfortable life challenges. We have uncomfortable things that makes us uncomfortable, that gets us into those points where we feel like we're about to break, or we feel like we're about to just not become ourselves, get out of ourselves. Good morning, Kiana. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Constance, for joining. Good morning. But I want to give you 5 things that uncomfortable life changes will produce in your life. And I am experiencing these things. And these 5 things I can actually speak from. They're coming from my heart. They're coming from God. He truly gave me these this morning. There are 5 things that life challenges will produce in us and out of us and through us. Number 1, it will produce a strength that we never knew we had within us. We know when things come against us, we tend to want to either retreat or to confront. We have to either choose. We have to choose whether we're going to retreat or we're going to confront these things head on and allow these things and find that strength, that inner strength that God has given us, that strength that you did not ever knew you possessed to be produced. So that, because it will then show the world, it would then show somebody else, that girl got some great strength. That man got some great strength because they didn't allow that uncomfortable life challenge to shake them and move them from their purpose, from their destiny, from whatever else, from life itself. It didn't allow them to retreat. It allowed them to confront and to conquer and to win over that thing. Number 2, what the uncomfortable life challenges will produce in you, it will produce a testimony. Now, we all have things that we have gone through that sometimes we don't share it with people, but we have to realize that it's going to produce a testimony that will help someone else, but we also have to be willing to share it. If we're not willing to share what God has brought us through, how can we really be a help to someone else? They may need the very essence of what you've been through to help them get through what they're going through. And it may be the exact same thing. At that right moment, you may come along and say, you know what, girl, I went through that same thing. And let me tell you the lessons that I learned from it and how I got out of it and how I conquered and how I won, how I'm still winning. So that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that the things that the life challenges, we want to make sure that it produces a testimony for somebody else, to help somebody else, because our sole purpose is to help, to serve life for someone else so that they can bring themselves up out of the exact same situation that God allowed you and helped you up out of. Number 3, It will produce your purpose. My God. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Uncomfortable life changes will produce your purpose. It will show you. It will show you your purpose. It will show you what you have been built for, what you are capable of. It will show you your purpose. Number 4. It will show you, it will produce your unique greatness. We all have greatness. We all have something inside of us that is great, that needs to be exposed and expelled to other people. But we have to understand that our greatness is unique. It's not like everybody's greatness is not exactly the same. Yes, we're all great, but what you're great in, I may not be great in. What I'm great in, you may not be great in. We all have a unique greatness. And uncomfortable life challenges, uncomfortable life changes will produce your unique greatness that's in you. It will show you that as well. It will show you what great things you have in you, what great qualities you have about yourself. And it will also allow you to identify someone else's greatness so that you can expose their greatness as well. So, number 5, my last one, the ultimate one out of all these things, out of all these things that will produce something out of your uncomfortable challenges. Number 5, it will produce the ability to forgive. And that is one hard thing that some people have a hard time doing, is forgiving. Is forgiving yourself, forgiving those past failures, those mistakes, those life issues, those hurts, the bad decisions, the rejection, people who may have rejected you. It will produce the ability to forgive those things, to forgive and forget. Maybe not forget it takes a minute to forget, but it will cause you to walk in forgiveness rather than unforgiveness. It will produce the ability. Not everybody have the ability to forgive. A lot of people it take a minute for if something tragic or something an uncomfortable life situation comes that may be brought on, maybe brought on by yourself, maybe brought on by someone else. But we have to get to the point that we're able to forgive ourselves for the wrong decisions that we've made, the wrong choices that we made, and we also have to forgive others for the wrong decisions that they may have done or that they have made in order that impacted our lives, that turned our world upside down. We have to forgive those people, and remember, we have to walk in love. So that is the ultimate one. Out of these 5 things, it will produce the ability to forgive. There are going to be some times where it's going to be hard to forgive somebody. It's going to be hard to forgive it may seem hard to forgive yourself because you feel like, I should have known better. I should have just sought counsel. I should have knew better. I should have known better. But we have to forgive ourselves. We cannot condemn ourselves. We have to forgive ourselves and love on ourselves. But out of all this, there was an example I thought about with this whole title is that, I don't know, some of you out there are moms, you do your little girl's hair, and you have those little black rubber bands that you get from the store. They're real small, the little black rubber bands. If you know what I'm talking about, type yes in the comments. You know what those little black rubber bands that we get from the hair supply store that we do our little girl's hair with. And I came across that when my mom was doing my niece's hair. They have a lot of hair. And I watched her get one of those little rubber bands and start doing my niece's hair. And looking at that rubber band, they're small, but they have a lot of strength and stretch in them. They're small, but they have a lot of strength and stretch in them. And I was like, I'm sure before these rubber bands got put on the shelves for my mom and you all who use those rubber bands, before you all were able to purchase them, I'm sure those rubber bands had to be tested. They had to be tested to ensure that they have the durability and they have the sustainability to withstand the stretch that you all were going to be given to place to make your little girl's hair pretty. I'm sure that they had to go through, those rubber bands had to go through some twisting, some stretching, some bending, some pulling. They had to go through all that to ensure that they will have the stability and the stability the durability, and the sustainability to do what it was purposed to do. And that was to make your little girl pretty. It did. Yes, it did. But I can also imagine that those rubber bands were stretched enough to see, can they be stretched to a breaking point? And will they break? As I can pull it as far as it can go, I want to see how much stretch I can give it to see if it will not break. I want to stretch it enough to see how much it will not break. And that's what life does. Life challenges, uncomfortable life situations will stretch us to see if we are going to break, or if we're going to sustain, or we have the durability, the sustainability, and the durability and the sustainability and the capability to withstand how much we can be stretched. And that's what I wanted to give you all today, that life will bend us, life will stretch us, life will pull us, and life will only stretch us so far that we won't break. We won't break, but it will stretch us enough to pull us enough to make us get into one position, and that one position is the position of prayer. Are we willing to bend ourselves and bow ourselves unto God? It will bend us enough to position us in prayer, to make sure we pray through these things, make sure that we guard our minds, guard our hearts, but we will not break. Just like the rubber band, it had to be tested, it had to be stretched, it had to be bent, it had to make sure that it's going to be able to sustain, it had to make sure that it had the durability to serve the purpose that it was intended to serve. And that is what life challenges, or uncomfortable life challenges, does for us. It makes us see and to really produce these things that we didn't have, but also it positions us, it makes us sustainable, and it makes us durable for life. It makes us to be able to see that we can never be broken. We can only be bent, twisted, and pulled, but we'll never break. We're only stretched. And you know, when you stretch something, when you stretch something out, that means you can get more in. And that's what life is doing. It's wanting us to God is wanting us to get more in. He wants to put more in us. So life is going to stretch us. It's going to pull us. It's going to twist us. But all because he want to get more in so that he can get more out of us. He want to get more in of us so that he can get more out of us, so that we can get more out of our purpose, get more out of our destiny, get more out of his will for our lives. And that's what I want to encourage you today. This thing right here just blew my mind, because there's so much life I've